Watch your own brain for the next 10 seconds. When you open TikTok, something shifts. Not just your posture, your thinking. You become a different mind. I noticed this watching my niece switch apps. 3 platforms in 3 minutes. 3 completely different people. TikTok, she's a pattern-matching machine, processing emotions in 7-second bursts. Discord, she's collaborative, building ideas with others in real time. Instagram, she's a curator, every word calculated for aesthetic impact. Same device, same brain, but not the same consciousness. Here's what nobody's saying out loud. Social media platforms aren't communication tools. They're cognitive specialization environments. Each one is literally training you to think differently, training you to be different, and you don't even notice it happening. Pause for a second. Think about your platform habits. Do you write differently on Twitter than LinkedIn? Do you think differently scrolling TikTok versus reading Reddit threads? If yes, that's not you adapting to different audiences. That's you becoming multiple selves. This goes way beyond McLuhan's media as extensions of man. Extensions amplify what's already there. What we're seeing is cognitive reconstruction. The platforms aren't extending your mind. They're fragmenting it into specialized islands. TikTok rewards rapid pattern recognition, micro-attention bursts, emotional hits delivered in seconds. Your brain adapts. It has to. After 200 videos, you're literally trained to process information in fragments optimized for algorithmic satisfaction. Reading a book? Good luck. Your brain now expects dopamine every 7 seconds. Reddit rewards citation culture. Well, actually, corrections. Long-form argumentation. You develop a fact-checking reflex. Source verification becomes automatic. But notice what else happens. You start speaking in Reddit's voice, pedantic, adversarial, always ready to debunk. That's not your personality. That's the platform thinking through you. Instagram rewards aesthetic curation, strategic self-presentation, visual composition. You develop an internal filter. Every experience gets evaluated. Is this Instagram-worthy? The sunset isn't just beautiful anymore. It's content. The meal isn't just delicious. It's a potential story. Here's where it gets dark. Platform logic doesn't just shape how you share experiences. It shapes the experiences themselves. You don't curate your online presence anymore. You curate your life to be curatable. Read that again. And these systems create self-reinforcing addiction cycles. TikTok trains you to need stimulation in shorter intervals. Deep focus becomes painful. You need TikTok more. Instagram ties your self-worth to external validation. You invest more in curation. You feel disconnected from your real self. You post more. This isn't a bug. It's the entire business model. The cognitive transformations that platforms create in users are the product. Your fragmented attention, their revenue stream. Your dependency, their engagement metrics. You become dependent on the very systems reshaping how you think. Users get caught in impossible contradictions. Want to be authentic online, but authenticity must be performed to be visible. Want genuine connection, but algorithms mediate every relationship. Want to stay informed, but information comes fragmented, optimized for outrage. People develop sophisticated strategies. Photo dumps to seem casual, unhinged tweets to seem authentic, using features against their purpose. But here's the problem. These workarounds exist within the platform's logic. Instagram's authenticity is still performance. Twitter's spontaneity is still optimized. I call this the cognitive archipelago, a mental landscape fragmented into specialized islands. The thoughtful self, LinkedIn. The witty self, Twitter. The aesthetic self, Instagram. The anonymous self, Reddit. You drift from island to island. Each one feels like home. None of them are. Traditional psychology assumes personality integration. You might act different at work versus home, but you experience yourself as coherent. Platform-based identity challenges this. Users report feeling like different people on different platforms, sometimes losing track of which version is real. The societal implication is terrifying. When public discourse is distributed across platforms with radically different incentives, genuine democratic conversation becomes impossible. There's no shared cognitive framework for solving complex problems. What makes this transformation particularly insidious? It's invisible. Unlike the printing press or TV, the cognitive effects of social media are unconscious. You experience platform switching as natural, effortless. You don't recognize each transition is a fundamental shift in how you process reality. Gen Z knows something has changed, but lacks language to describe transformations they've never lived without. Older generations dismiss it as kids and their phones, not recognizing the deeper cognitive restructuring. Both miss what's actually happening, a revolution in human consciousness itself. Remember my niece from the beginning? In her effortless platform switching, I see both promise and peril. Promise: new cognitive capabilities previous generations couldn't imagine. Peril: dependence on systems incompatible with sustained attention, genuine intimacy, integrated selfhood. She's becoming superhuman, and she's fragmenting. So here's a better question than, is social media good or bad? What kinds of minds are these platforms creating? And do those cognitive transformations serve human flourishing? Once you see platforms as cognitive specialization environments, you can't unsee it. Digital literacy shouldn't teach technical skills. It should teach cognitive awareness. How platforms shape thinking, recognition of your own pattern shifts, strategies for maintaining cognitive autonomy. Not how to use Instagram, but how Instagram uses you. Platform regulation shouldn't just address privacy and competition. It should address cognitive effects. Design choices shape how millions think and relate. That's not a technical issue. It's a human rights issue. We need cognitive sovereignty protections. Personally, we need new practices. Just as we learn to think critically about information we consume, we need to think critically about cognitive environments we inhabit. Which mental habits does each platform encourage? Which version of yourself is doing the thinking? Try this starting tomorrow. Before opening any social app, pause, notice. Which self are you about to become? What cognitive mode is that platform demanding? Is this the thinking you actually want to do right now? Awareness is the first step to sovereignty. The cognitive archipelago is our new reality. The question isn't whether you're fragmented. The question is whether you'll navigate it consciously. You drift from island to island, forgetting there was ever solid ground beneath your feet. Your mind is territory. Defend it. Which makes you wonder, if platforms have already reshaped how an entire generation thinks, what else are we getting wrong about human consciousness itself? And what will we have become by the time we figure it out?